welcome. My name is Faith. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am doing a baby pink spring makeup tutorial for you guys. I asked you guys on my Instagram stories if you wanted to see a spring makeup tutorial that was pink or green, I think was the other color I picked. And you guys chose pink, which I was happy about because pink is a lot easier than green and it's a lot more wearable. So I think that this will be a really nice wearable spring makeup look. I'm so ready for spring. It's still like 30 degrees where I live, but we're just gonna pretend that it actually feels like spring. If you are new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would consider doing so before you leave here. All you have to do is hit the red subscribe button. But I want to get right on into this tutorial because it's going to be very in-depth. I'm doing a full face, so let's get right on into it. Okay, I'm gonna start with skin, and since it's spring and moving into summer, I've started to include an SPF moisturizer into my morning routine, and I really like how this particular moisturizer works with my skin. This is the Paula's Choice Youth Extending Daily Hydrating Fluid, and it has SPF 50 in it. It works so well with my skin. I do have sensitive skin, especially with moisturizers. I have the hardest time finding a moisturizer that won't break me out, and I've been using this for probably 2 weeks now, and I've actually felt like my skin has looked better, so even better than it was before. So I've really been loving this stuff. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my March favorites as well, along with another moisturizer, like a nighttime moisturizer from Paula's Choice. I've just really loved their moisturizers. So I start with that, but then I still do want to add a radiant primer. So I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Foundation Primer Radiance one. This will just give us some glow. I really want glowy skin for this spring look, really healthy, fresh skin. So for foundation, my favorite combination lately has been the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear mixed with a little bit of the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. The reason I mix these two is because the L'Oreal one gives this even more dew than the NARS one, but the NARS one is so long wearing. So the combination of these two is just so good. I put 3 pumps of the NARS on the back of my hand. The pumps are really tiny. I normally would never do 3 pumps of anything, but for some reason the packaging in that, you have to pump out a lot. And then I do a little spurt of the L'Oreal one. I do have a fake tan on right now, so these are my darker summer shades. In the NARS, I use the shade Sahel, and in the L'Oreal Pro Glow, I use 205. I am going to be making a video about my body care, which will include my tanning mousse routine. So if you want to see that, definitely make sure you're subscribed. Then I'm just going to take my sponge. I kind of take whatever is left on my hand too, get it on the sponge, and blend this out. I like to start by blending at the bottom just to really make sure it blends with my neck and everything, and then I work up. I love this foundation combination. It just beautifully evens out my skin tone, it gives me a nice little glow, and it will last all day, so that's awesome. Next, moving on to concealer, I'm going to just use my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm using the shade Light Sand, and I don't have a lot of this left, but that's okay because I've kind of been trying to tone it down on how much concealer I use. I think it just looks more fresh and light when you don't put so much here, I was noticing, and it might just be my skin changing a little bit. I am currently pregnant, if you didn't know that. I've just noticed my skin is a lot more dry, and I do have a little texture here, so I'm just gonna go a little bit lighter with the concealer application today. But I really do need to repurchase this shade because it's basically gone. I'm just gonna blend that all out. To set the under eyes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder, and I'm not going to bake. I'm just going to lightly dust this with a brush. Again, just going back to what I just said, my under eyes and cheek area have been really dry lately. If you are a little bit more on the oily side, definitely feel free to bake this, leave the powder on for a little bit and really let it sink in there. But for me right now, this has been my go-to way of application. I also set in the other areas that we put that concealer. And I am going to set the rest of my face as well. I love using the BareMinerals barePRO foundation powder. This is the shade Camel. It's like my tanned shade. And I just use a big fluffy brush and kind of dust it all over. This just sets down the liquid foundation. It really locks it in, makes sure that it's going to stay all day. And the reason I love using this powder in particular over any other foundation powder I've tried is this BareMinerals one never makes me look dry. It doesn't take away too much of the dew, it doesn't mattify me, but it does set down the liquid foundation. So I really love this powder. It's all I ever really use. I'm gonna do my brows quickly off camera and then we'll finish off the rest of the face and the eyes and everything like that. I do have a full brow routine on my channel if you want to check that out. Okay, next I'm going to move on to bronzer. I'm using the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder. I don't know why it's called Matte Radiance. It's definitely radiant and glowy, so I don't really know why it says matte, to be honest. I'm gonna look into that. I'm not really sure why they call it that, but I just love this shade for my skin tone right now, and I do like that it has a little bit of a glow without being shimmery. It's definitely not shimmery, it's just very like radiant. Like in any sort of baked product, there's always that little bit of like glow to it. I always start just right back here, then carry forward and up. I'm gonna get a good amount on your forehead. It always just looks really nice and fresh and springy and summery when you have a tanned forehead. Here, just getting in the way there. I do like to take a little bit just down the nose, like as if the sun had kissed our nose. I'm not gonna do a nose contour. And I do take a little just under my jawline. This is more for like a little contouring action. Okay, now for blush, I'm going to use the classic NARS Orgasm blush. It's a perfect little pink. This is a mini size. This is not the normal size, but this is just the size I have right now. But I just love this pink glowy shade. I think it's perfect for this pink spring makeup tutorial. So I'm gonna apply this here. It is nice and glowy. It's not too intense. You'd think like looking at this like, whoa, that's bright pink, but it kind of comes off on the cheek like a baby pink, like a very light flush. I love it. And it does build up though. If you wanted to get it like super intense, you definitely could. Okay, I'm gonna run it down my nose just to give us a little flushed look. One last skin step before I move on to eyes that I've been loving to do if I want a little bit more of a glow is to add a dusting of this Lancome powder. This is the Absolute powder and the shade is Absolute Petch. I bought this back when I did my Jaclyn Hill foundation routine video, and I don't use it how she uses it. Like, she actually presses it onto the skin with a sponge. I'm just taking a light dusting and kind of putting it over my whole face. I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera. Maybe you can see it just gives like a little bit more of a radiance to the skin, but it's a powder, so it's again gonna lock everything in, make everything look really airbrushed. So now I'm gonna move on to eyes, and today I reached for the Huda Beauty palette. This is the Desert Dusk palette. The reason being, I love the shade Angelic. It's a beautiful baby pink shimmer. So that's what's gonna go all over our lid. I'm just gonna put some matte shades in the crease to kind of frame that. To start, I'm gonna go in with Musk, this shade right here, and just deepen up the crease, kind of give it some contour. I haven't used this palette on my channel in a while either, so I wanted to mix it up and show you guys something a little bit different. This shade is so nice in the crease. It just creates a nice shadow, really emphasizes the crease, gives your eye a little definition. I'll take whatever's left in my brush and just kind of run it underneath my eye as well. To deepen that up just a little bit, I'm gonna go into this brown shade, OUD. It'll warm it up a little bit and give it a little bit more dimension. I'll also take this on the corner of my lower lash line as well, just to connect those. I'm gonna take a clean brush and go into Desert Sand, this light shade, and just go along the edges and make sure everything looks really blended. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with that pretty shimmer shade called Angelic. Just gonna use my finger and pat that onto my lid. Ugh, this is probably my favorite shade in the palette. It's just such a pretty pink shade. It's nice and intense. Like, that's just with one little layer. I'm gonna take the original blending brush I was using and just go right in the crease to make sure that the edge of that shimmer is blended. If you want to go in with a second layer, you can. But again, just blend the edges, because sometimes when you just use your finger, it kind of like creases up on your folds of your skin. You don't want to see that. You want to make sure it's all seamless. So that's it for this eyeshadow palette, but we're not done with the eyes yet. I'm going to take the MAC Photogravure Technical Liner. It's just a very dark brown liner from MAC. Everything will be linked down below, by the way, as well. I should have mentioned that earlier, but if you're looking to look into any of these products, everything is linked down below, but I'm just using this pencil to line my top waterline. And I am going to do a little bit of a winged liner today. I'm using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. It does last a really long time. I do really like the applicator and everything. So I'm going to use this today, and then we'll apply some false lashes as well. I do always like to set down my liner with a black eyeshadow, and there isn't a black eyeshadow in the Huda Beauty palette. So I'm just going to take this black eyeshadow from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. You can obviously use any black eyeshadow that you might have. I like to do this because it makes my liner last a whole lot longer, and it kind of helps me fix any weird bumps or mistakes I made. Now for lashes, I'm first just going to coat them with the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara, and then I'm going to add some falsies. So the falsies I'm going to be using today are the same ones that I used in my new makeup video. That went up like maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that. These are just from Amazon. They're so cheap and I love them. They're kind of like demi wispies, but they're a little bit shorter and thicker. So they look pretty natural and I really like them. I think they're perfect for a spring look. So I'm just gonna apply these. Basically, I just look down in my mirror. After I apply the glue, I let it dry for just a little bit so it's not so slippery. And then I just pop them on as close to my actual lashes as possible. Starting in the middle, and then I take the corners and attach them. I'm gonna let those dry completely before I apply any more mascara, just to blend in the rest of my lashes. So I'm gonna move on to lips, and first I'm just going to line them with my favorite neutral lip liner. It's from NYX, and it is a little baby guy. Yes, I am still working away at this thing. I swear, this is like the best lip liner ever. It costs $3. It's my favorite shade, and there's so much product in it. It lasts a super long time. So this again is the NYX Slim Lip Pencil in the shade Natural. I'm just gonna line my lips, and then I'll show you the lip product that we're using today. Okay, I am so excited to use this here on YouTube. I have talked about it on Instagram, but not here. Actually, no, I did include this in my March favorites. So I take that back, but I haven't actually like applied it in a tutorial. This is the Almay Goddess Glow Lip Gloss, and the shade is Angelic. Wasn't the eyeshadow called Angelic too? This is like an Angelic spring makeup tutorial. Maybe I'll call it that. But it's just pink and has tiny little flecks of shimmer, and it's just gorgeous. It's not super opaque, so it's not gonna like look bright pink. It does let your natural lip color show through a little bit, which I love. It's also really hydrating, which I wasn't expecting. Normally like shimmery lip glosses aren't all that hydrating, but this one definitely is. I love it. It just makes your lips look so shiny. I love it. So I think these lashes should be pretty well attached. So I'm gonna take my Glossier mascara, and just coat over that one more time to blend everything together. Make our actual lashes stick in there with the falsies. And then the last step is setting spray and highlight. So I've been loving the Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day setting spray. It gives you a little dew but also really works to lock in the makeup. I find that a lot of dewy setting sprays like the Tarte one, I'm trying to think of another one. I don't know. They make your skin look really, really pretty, but they don't actually make your makeup last, at least not for me. This gives you a little bit of a dew, but really like locks in the makeup. So I'm just gonna do a good amount of this. Whew. See, it gives a nice little glow. And then for highlight, I'm going to use the Lorac Starlight Illuminating Highlighter. I love this stuff. I used it a ton, maybe like a year ago, and then just discovered some other things and kind of forgot about it, and I recently rediscovered it and I can't put it down. It's really intense but natural. Take some on the nose, of course. I'm also going to take some of this on the inner corner and brow bone. It'll add a nice pop. And that is it for this makeup look, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment something down below so we can chat. Let's pray that warmer weather is on the way. I would love to do more spring makeup looks or spring makeup related videos, so leave me ideas down below if you have any. I love you all so, so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.